Hi you guys, Jess with Kotek Time here. I'm going to be doing a couple different parts of videos. I've been asked for some tutorials and I'm trying to get them uploaded onto my YouTube. I've been making a ton of different cups on my TikTok on live, and those videos get so long and I don't have enough phone space to download them to compile them all together. So we're just going to do it this way. One of the first cups that I'm going to show you how I'm making it is going to be this one. I've already printed my decal. As you guys know, I usually try to get my decals printed right while I'm working on my cups. That way I can look at everything and make sure it's going to work out really nice. So in order to get your cup to look like this is a skinny can koozie. So it has the little beer top opener on the bottom. First thing I did is I printed out my stars. Anytime I'm doing any kind of like quick, whether it be easy weeding or things that I know I'm going to come right off, peekaboos, I always use contact paper from the kitchen supply side of the store at the local Walmart. So that's what I use. I do not use my good vinyl when I'm doing that. So this particular cup is going to be on a skinny straight 20 ounce. I've just got my stars. They're printed on here. And the first thing I'm going to do, and I will tilt you guys down, maybe. Yeah. I'm going to get the backer off. Again, this is basically a shelf liner. So I try my best to do this without having to actually weed anything. We'll see how I do. I want my stars to stay attached to my design. And it came off. Find out which side is up. I'm going to put my cup down. And I'm going to place my stars towards the top of the cup. This is on a primed white base. So anywhere that I want to stay white is kind of what I'm covering up right now. I'm going to start pulling off my box that I put around my stars. And as I'm pulling it, I'm just going to be making sure that my stars are staying pushed down onto the cup. I will go back and make sure to give them a little bit more pressure before I actually do any kind of painting on this cup. When I use this contact paper or shelf liner, I just cut it on my vinyl setting and it cuts fine. Okay, so we got the stars on the cup and I'm just going to push them down. Just want them to stay down. Now I need to do my stripes that are going to go down. What I use for those is blue painter's tape and an X-Acto knife, and I just push it down on a cutting mat, like on a thin cutting board, and I'm just going to go kind of zigzaggy, if that's what you want to call it. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're just going to go a little bit zigzaggy. And you can see where the tape isn't pushed down all the way, not the end of the world. I'm going to rip that up. And I'm going to come through and do the middle. Again, I'm just guessing, and I'm just kind of doing it in any old way, shape, motion that works for me. And then I'm going to do my outside edge. And we're going to pull this guy up. And the dogs are barking, y'all. Dogs are barking. This one I'm going in a little bit more than I did on the last one. Just for spacing purposes underneath where the stars are, I want to try to get the accurate amount of stripes as best I can. So they will not be exact dimensioned or sized. And I'll need to do one more. You can take your hand, you can rip them too. You don't have to use an X-Acto knife. You can just rip the edges of the tape if that's how you choose to do it. I find that this is a little bit more of a time saver, and as you guys know, anything that I can do to kind of make the process of any tumbler I'm making a little bit faster, I will 100% do. I think I'm going to get rid of a little bit more of this guy. As well. Okay, so I've got my stripes done. And we're going to rock and roll here. Some of this is just kind of moving your placement. So your first stripe is red, your next stripe is going to be white. Again, anything that I want to stay white, I am going to come through and I'm covering right now. And I probably did cut these long enough where I could just kind of rip them in half and save myself from having to use 2 sheets or do my squiggles, but I did not, so it's fine. I'm going to scooch stuff just a little bit. Again, a lot of this is eyeballing, so you're going to move your painter's tape a couple times until you figure out exactly where you like it the best. Anything that's going to kind of impede into where my stars are, I'm just going to notch out and get rid of. I don't want it to be like a perfect flat line, but at the same time, I do want it to have a definitive mark where it changes. Underneath where your stars are is where you have a white stripe. So I want to make sure that that area is going to be white. And I will come back and push everything down so it is nice and tight on the cup. Again, I am eyeballing the thickness. You can definitely however you feel most comfortable making this cup. If you want to measure out your cup and put your lines 100% where you want them, you can. We need to get one more stripe on here. And we've got our stripes. I'm gonna just flip my little top pieces, and I can push down these bottoms, I can cut them, I can do whatever I want. So I'm just gonna kind of bring them in, each one in, and get rid of some of the excess. Now, anytime a flag is hanging vertically, the stars should be on the, how do I say this, the left. I'm going to be working backwards. The stars should be on the left, and it should work around. So on this particular cup, where your stars, if you were to take the flag and fold it, the top and the bottom are red. Just keep in mind that right here and right here is going to end up being red, right? Because if you took a flag and folded it, the top and the bottom are red. If you don't like that look, you can definitely go in and just add a little bit of distressing or something to kind of make it a little bit more definitive. But this cup is essentially ready to be spray painted. I will spray paint this part blue, the rest of it red. With the power of TV. Now, I had one semi-prepped, however, I have a drip going down, and so it's not 100% dry. So I have to pause right here because I cannot show you the next step until this guy really is dry. I could probably pull off a few of these pieces without creating like horrible damage. But there's definitely a big wet spot that I am not going to mess with until I get to, I won't be able to do those stars yet. I can tell you that right now. Did I mess anything up? No. Just separating my painter's tape up here because I have a little bit of a mess. Nothing major. Okay. So you will basically just come down. You're going to be pulling off the painter's tape. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. So I got my tape off, and the next step would be going in and getting these stars. Again, my paint is not dry enough for me to do that, so I'm going to pause and I'll come back and show you how I do the stars once my paint's dry. Okay, we are in my super disgusting paint booth. I do have my fan going, and I am going to be putting my face mask on. For the blue, I use, it's a Rust-Oleum Classic Navy, and for my red. I use apple red. This is a satin, so just know that certain spray paints need to gas off, and they take longer to actually dry. If you go and spray paint and you go straight into epoxy and your epoxy is automatically repelling or not connecting to your cup correctly, or you're having issues, it's probably because you did not let your spray paint give enough time to gas off. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so get a couple test spritz, and I'm just going to do my blue portion first. And now I'm going to come back in with my red. Okay. So obviously this spray paint is going to need to dry. Once it is dry, we'll remove it, and I just showed you what I did removing it. So now you saw how I spray painted. Okay, you guys, so I now have both cups with the stars taken off. Let me grab both, sorry. And I'm going to show you how I do my smoke effect. I will be speeding that portion up as well. I believe I've posted a previous video as to how I do my smoke effect. So basically I'm just going to be using masking tape and fire. That's it. So now I'm going to smoke effect both of these guys. The vinyl design that I picked up from Etsy. So I will put the link to that in the description of this video. This cup does not have epoxy on it yet. It is just sealed. I use triple thick to seal it. It's the next day. Anytime I do the smoke effect, I personally go through and seal it. I'm going to put the flag side down. I'm going to pull up my carrier sheet. Make sure this didn't roll too much. Get it centered. and push it down. Sorry, I had to go check on my puppy. Pull off the transfer tape, making sure everything's stuck. And this cup will be ready for its epoxy. Push down anything that I think is loose. Make sure all my stars are good, and I can now epoxy this cup.